Hi, and welcome to the Lorcana Muses podcast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Brittany.
We're so excited to have you guys back for this new episode to discuss the lore of Lorcana and where the story is headed for set 6, what some of the arts on set 5 are telling us, a lot of the flavor text. We've done a lot of digging the last week, and we're excited to explore.
And I think we should look back all the way to set 1.
Yeah.
When we were introduced to the world itself to see if there's something we might have missed as we're looking back to see where the story was.
Yeah, I think even when we got into set 4 and Ursula was revealed to be the big bad villain there, a lot of us were surprised because nobody was really paying attention since set 1. But then you go back and you see like Mickey Mouse looking at tentacles, and it's really cool how they've kind of interweaved this story into all these cards for us to find.
Well, and I like how in the introduction videos for each set, we've seen a little picture of what could be happening, but there might be more in those videos that
we're not noticing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure, the whole world itself. We're all supposed to be Illumineers, but other than finding lore, what is our part in the whole story of Lorcana? And what is the part of the Illuminator characters that we see in the videos?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so with that, I guess I'll hand it over to Brittany, and she'll kick off the story from set 1.
Hello, and welcome to our story. We're going to read from the first chapter, Trove Player's Guide, where our story begins. Welcome to Lorcana, an enchanted realm of imagination in a distant dimension. At the center of this realm is a wonder unto itself, the Great Illuminary. It is here Illumineers first wielded magical inks to create countless versions of Disney characters and items, which are summoned in this world as glimmers. The Great Illuminary houses endless marvels. Enormous whirling contraptions capture colorful story stars fragments of Disney stories. Glowing lines of color flow from room to room, and an immense reservoir of magical ink, the source of Lorcana's power, fills the lower reaches. These wonders were created by a figure called the Curator, who sought to collect and reimagine stories by harnessing the power of story stars. By pairing their light with magical ink on the pages of a lore book, he was able to create glimmers. He called a group of imaginative apprentices to help him in his work, naming them Illumineers. Together they filled the halls with glimmers and the lore books they ink-housed out of, all especially a valuable lore in Lorcana. Ages passed, the Curator and original Illumineers are now gone, but a power deep within the Great Illuminary has awakened. It calls sounds throughout the world, summoning extraordinary and creative people to master the power of Lorcana. New Illumineers must resume the great work of the Curator to collect and preserve lore. Glimmers will then roam the Illuminary again. Come discover the wonder and magic of Lorcana. This age is yours.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of new people that listen to our podcast, a lot of people who maybe aren't paying attention. I think that sets it up so nicely. Thank you for giving us a little story time.
Thank you.
Should really get into the Audible business or the audiobook business. Anyways, yeah, so I think it's really cool. That first trailer, I think that dropped for chapter 1, or I guess the first chapter, really set up these Illumineers that represent all of the ink colors going in to find the Great Illuminary and opening up the spell book to release all of the glimmers. And we start seeing all of the really fun characters and their variations, which is really neat to see. And then we get into Rise of the Floodborn, where we see the rush of ink kind of capture a lot of these glimmers, and we see new characters that we never would have imagined, like Cinderella Stouthearted would never have imagined Cinderella as a knight. She's one of the most...
Not what I would have imagined her.
Very demure princess.
Very demure.
Very mindful. And so it's really neat. And then you start paying attention, and with, like I mentioned, the mouse, Mickey Mouse, finding tentacles and leading up to this kind of big bad in set 3 and set 4, and finding out it's Ursula and all of her glimmers working together to take over the Grand Illuminary is really fun.
So a lot of Lorcana is still a mystery, and we're going to keep on finding out how it's revealed. And I feel like we have Detective Mickey and Detective Donald in there to kind of lead us in the right direction.
Yeah.
We have some very interesting flavor text that has been released recently as additions to cards from this latest set that I think was a big deal because they didn't release flavor text on older cards that was separate from the original cards. So they're definitely trying to showcase that there is a lot more story coming very quickly.
Yeah, and there's a lot more going on than I think meets the eye. So I know set 5 is Shimmering Skies, and it's supposed to be this grand celebration, and we're really supposed to focus on that. But even the art itself, there's something more sinister going on.
A little hinky.
It's a little, just fun. As we've kind of started to see too, the Grand Illuminary starting to fall apart. And we've
you can see it in the background.
We see characters like Fix-It Felix Jr. trying to put it back together. You see Minnie Mouse kind of in the foreground with the party in the background, saying, "Oh no, something's happening. It's falling. I need to go, tell somebody." So,
no, there's something amiss. While we're having this great food fight, and while we're having fireworks, and while we're playing carnival games, there is something afoot.
Yeah.
We don't know if someone is behind it or if the Great Illuminary is just falling apart for some other reason.
Yeah. And then you have the villains. Of course, they're going to take advantage of the chaos, right? So,
well, why wouldn't they?
I know in Ursula's Return, we had that Sapphire Hades that kind of hinted at that while everybody is dealing with Ursula, he can make his grand move. And I'm waiting to see what his grand move is because I'm a huge Hades stan. But then you see other villains in Shimmering Skies like Jafar take over Basil. And then you have a Basil card where he's trying to steal things from the Grand Illuminary. And in his eyes, it's like hypnotic, which goes perfectly with the hypnotic strength card, which is Jafar's staff, and it's glowing and it's really cool.
Absolutely. So I'm kind of interested to see where the Illumineers that were fighting Ursula, so that's Martine, Venturo, and Shanze, what they were,
where are they?
Where are they?
Because I think we've only seen Martine is putting on the concert for all of the Glimmers and Floodborns, kind of celebrating all the work they did to help defeat Ursula. So I am curious to see where the other two are at and what's going on with them.
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't see them in the
No,
it's not that I recall. And so what happened to them in between Ursula and now?
Interesting.
So definitely something to think about. Also, I'm very curious to think about what was happening with each of these characters before they were Lumineers. They got summoned here. So
yeah.
What's their background? So we know Martine, kind of a musician. And I want to say Shanze is a poet. And Venturo is kind of like a computer nerd because he's good at software and circuits. So we can kind of see a little bit of these strengths of theirs in the different videos from each set, because as they're interacting with the parts of the Lorcana background, one of them's messing with a machine and another one's kind of looking at the story, and another one is trying to battle it out with music and things like that. Kind of
interesting.
So another thing besides the character Illumineer backgrounds, we have all these cards from past sets with the villains where each of them is kind of talking about different rules of villainy. Now they're not in any order, and there's some that are missing. So we haven't had them all released. But the first rule of villainy is if you're going to be evil, you've got to have style.
Of course.
And the second rule of villainy, never settle for second place. The fourth rule of villainy, do whatever it takes to get ahead. The sixth rule of villainy, keep your mind sharp and your claws sharper. The ninth rule of villainy, when all else fails, turn into a dragon.
Of course.
So the 12th rule of villainy, if you don't have a throne, take one.
Yep.
And the 13th rule of villainy, take everything you can, but do it with a smile.
I love it. I love seeing all the villains run around. I love we're getting lore for them kind of with this villainy. I don't know where they're going to go with the rules of villainy. I hope knowing Ravensburger and knowing this world that they've created with Lorcana, it's going to go somewhere very fun and very exciting. I know that Maleficent's already trying to take advantage of the chaos and has been sprouting her vines everywhere. And I know the fairies were trying to deal with that. And then we see also the fairies trying to take away the spheres and hide away. And I wonder who they're, bringing those to.
Or bringing them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my question is, are all glimmers their true self? So are all glimmers, like if you're a hero or an ally, are you always a hero or an ally? Or can you be a villain?
Or if you're like Wreck-It Ralph, you should be both.
Oh, you should be both. So I'm very curious. And as we see, we know that villains can mess with glimmers too with Basil.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we'll start to see more cards where they're typically a hero, but now in these future sets, they might be a villain or they might be doing something else. So I'm very curious with that. We already have, I know Merlin is very hard at work trying to make sure that everything that's staying hidden is staying hidden. Magica Dispel, her new card this set is she's got the Triton in hand. I know a couple of the other villains have mentioned finding the pieces of the Hexspell crown. So,
well, and I mean, I'm very curious because so we talked about this as a separate conversation like a few weeks ago, but all the villains are behind that magical barrier to get into the party. Are they all there?
Well, and I mean, since now that I'm understanding that there can be multiple of them running around, as we saw with Ursula, are they a distraction? Like, are maybe they're putting up their glimmers there behind the rope to? Oh, they're
a placeholder.
They're the placeholder, yeah. And then while the big ones, the Floodborn ones, or the big glimmers are, causing havoc and doing their plans. So, I know a few cards also have mentioned this new place that I don't know if it's been mentioned in other sets, but the
Azurite Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's been on previous cards, but I could have been, maybe it's on one of those vanilla cards because I don't see those as often.
Yeah.
Because some of those vanilla cards have really great flavor text on them. We just don't play them very much because we play, some of the bigger cards.
Yeah, I'm just curious because all of a sudden we have this new, location, if you will. With two cards mentioning it, we have Monstro from Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of popping out of it to get on the shore and, I don't know, eat people. I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, and then we have, all of the cards that we've seen in the art for next set that we have seen already is related to the ocean.
Yeah, we have all the pirates with the Mickey and Friends.
So I'm curious to know, maybe the next set is about Azurite Sea.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then we have, I might butcher this name, so please excuse me, but I believe his name is Benaya?
I think it's
Benahi, from Brother Bear. My question is, who's he talking to and what is he talking about? Because he's saying...
Oh, it's
Denahi. I apologize. He's asking, I'm going to get you for what you've done. I don't care if I have to chase you into the Azurite Sea. So, very curious. I love that they're leaving all these Easter eggs for us to find and put together. I think we're all more in tune with it because of the whole Ursula's return. So
we're looking for more.
We're looking for more. When before we were kind of just, oh, this is fun flavor text.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I focus more on that text now. And when beforehand, I might read it once when it gets released, but past then, I don't really focus on it. But I'm kind of excited to see where the text will take us next.
Yeah, so very fun.
So speaking of, good fun, I like to look at some of the specific flavor text from some of the newer cards. So they did release some additional flavor text that was not printed on some of the cards.
Yeah.
So like today specifically, they released a Robin Hood card. And on that, today being Tuesday when we record, we release on Thursdays. It says, "You're certainly now in the thick of it, aren't you, old boy? Scaling rooftops and working for wizards. But if he's right, we don't want that potion falling into the wrong hands." So this is the Robin Hood sneaky snooze.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
I wonder what potion he's talking about.
I wonder what potion he's talking about and which wizard. Is he talking about Merlin? Or is he talking about another wizard?
Yeah, there's also Yen Sid.
Or could he be talking about, a villainous wizard?
Interesting. That also kind of reminds me, I know I mentioned it already, but that Minnie Mouse who is watching the Grand Illuminary ball, she's kind of holding a vial of some sort that looks like a potion.
So maybe that's the potion that Robin Hood is seeking out for.
Yeah.
Something else.
And then that kind of maybe plays into the theory, is that Minnie Mouse a good Minnie Mouse, or is she going to tell somebody else? So
that's very, very curious.
We haven't had very many potions in this game, or if anything, anything.
We have the Potion of Might.
Oh, okay.
Emerald card. And we have a few healing based cards that might have potions within them, but I don't necessarily think potion specifically past that Potion of Might.
Yeah.
That I can think of off the top of my head.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder if we'll start seeing more of in each ink color, kind of like we had when we first saw the Vital Sphere, and then we started seeing other spheres and other ink colors, and then now we have all these Chromicons in every ink color.
Well, the Hidden Ink Caster is the Emerald cards.
Yeah.
Could there be other types of ink casters?
That kind of, and talking, I know it's movie or IP specific items that are the stars or the things that are giving parts of this illuminary power. The Trident, for example. But I know that the Hidden Inkcaster was one, and then there was an item that Ariel found last set too.
I think it looks like it's the Hidden Inkcaster.
Yeah, I think you're right.
In her Sapphire card, where she's collecting all the items, the image of the Hidden Inkcaster on the Emerald card looks like that same item she's carrying.
Interesting. Still, though, I mean, you're getting more and more realm-specific items now in Lorcana, not just items that we've seen in the movies or TV shows or whatever it is that we're used to.
No, I'm enjoying that they're introducing lore specific to the game, because I think it opens them up to so many more things.
Yeah, because we're seeing Merlin trying to protect and run around, and in this set, all those items of power that's giving the Illuminary, I guess basically it's magic. So we have the Lucky Dime from DuckTales, and the Sorcerer's Hat from the Sorcerer's Apprentice, the Triton from The Little Mermaid, and all these other things. So I think we'll start seeing those things go missing as these glimmers of these villains kind of get a hold of them.
Well, and I also if the power is being taken from the Grand Illuminary,
that's why it's falling. Yeah, because I know they kind of mentioned, it might be the party because it's so loud it's crashing. But I think there's something else there.
There's something afoot.
So, and then kind of going back to what you mentioned about the next set being in the sea, supposedly this thing is floating up in the air, so I could see it falling down into the Azurite Sea. And
then we see those pirate characters come into play.
Yeah, and then I know one of you can't really see much of the flavor text with what was released at D23, but I know a couple of them had mentioned finding a maze and finding an island. So I wonder if more of the locations are going to be important.
Maybe some locations that are Lorcana specific, that have IP specific, because all of the locations so far have been
IP specific. Yeah, so I wonder if we're going to start getting more Lorcana locations, and this world is going to start to unfold even more.
Yeah, so we might have a location that is, the Grand Illuminary.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, that'd be really cool, I think. So I'm I'm very excited to see what happens. I know we have the next set coming up in Q4, so we'll see that eventually. And I know Shimmering Skies only just dropped, and we're very greedy. We're just like, give us more cards. We want to hear the story, or we want to see the story.
Yeah, no, we're lovers of Lorcana.
Yeah.
And we love a good story. We both read a lot, and we love Disney and wanted to keep telling us more, tell us more.
I know. So I know that's a lot to digest. And of course, if you guys have any conspiracy theories, or if you have any like more things that we've missed, definitely let us know so we
Or
can
thoughts.
or even thoughts. Yeah.
Who do you think is behind this? Like, which villain do you think? Or is it a new villain? Is it someone that is Lorcana specific?
Oh,
Is
that's
it
kind of
one of the Illumineers?
So what do you think?
I think it's one of the villains. I think it's too early in this game
Yeah.
to not pick one of their own.
That's
baddies.
more like big reveal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's past 1 year of a game.
Yeah.
I think
We forget so easily. It's only been a year. Also, happy birthday, Lorcana. So which villain are you hoping / thinking it might be?
I do think that the evil queen could be
Yeah.
next, just because of some of the flavor text that was released on her card.
Yeah.
Specifically, because it's her and her glimmers are conspiring together. And she said, it would only do for the wisest and most beautiful to rule Lorcana. That should be us. Alone, we may suffer betrayals and defeat, but together, well, that is a different story. So I feel that now she saw that Ursula had done so well with her glimmers that
Well,
it's her turn.
so well until one of them betrayed her. So
Yeah, so hopefully.
I wonder if it is the queen, because she is able to work so much better together with her glimmers more than Ursula could, that we see her reign and her terror more than just a sets, when it was just
maybe
Ursula's
more than
turn.
one.
Yeah. So, and like really just make the place turn upside down and really chaotic.
Maybe sprinkle a few poison apples.
I'm holding out for Hades. I'll always hold out for Hades. We haven't heard very much from him this set. The only real flavor text he got was with the Glimmer versus Glimmer card with Hercules.
Yeah.
But that was a decent flavor text, because he's saying, hey, if we have to go back in that book, I'm taking you guys with me.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to be, he wants to be out and about.
So that kind of raises my question, or like my theory, that it's not going to be just one of them.
So there's some teaming
going on. So sure, the queen takes over Lorcana, but who's going to maybe take some of those glimmers back with Hades? So if Hades gets back sucked in the book, and he takes a lot of the Floodborn characters even, and then so they're not as strong, and we're kind of left a little defenseless, and we have to get new Floodborns or new glimmers out.
Or maybe we see some ally connections, and maybe some allies get stronger because
they have to.
Because there's less of the heroes.
Yeah, so I think that'd be really interesting. And again, this is all just theory and wishes and wants, but I do think we'll see something there. I don't think it'll be Rad again. He seems like he's like self-imploding a little bit.
No, he I feel like is a little too self-involved to be the big bad.
Yeah, I think he'll be annoying to deal with, but I don't think he'll be very difficult to deal with. Mother Gothel is another one I've been kind of toying with, if it could be her. We got her.
So gorgeous. I can't get over the flower card.
I know, it's so pretty. And then we got her action card in Amber with the Revive.
Yeah.
And that came with some flavor text too.
It did.
So I wonder if we'll see more glimmers from the villains, because they're reviving them from what their Storyborn characters were. So, because I know we have Storyborn, we have Dreamborn, we have Floodborn.
Is there going to be another iteration of these characters?
Yeah, so very interesting.
Azurite Seaborn.
We'll see. I'm very excited. I know the Rescue Rangers are going to be a part of it in some way or shape or form, which only makes sense because they solve mysteries, and
Yeah,
it sounds like it's going to be a huge mystery.
We need more mysteries.
So I hope we'll start to see more. So I know we just released the Detective Donald Duck. I wonder if we'll start to see like Minnie Mouse Detective and Daisy Detective and
Goofy.
Goofy
Detective.
I would love it. Also, with Goofy, perfect segue into a Goofy movie. I'll mention it every episode. What happens? We need a countdown. How many days since a Goofy movie?
So good.
So yeah, there is a lot happening in Lorcana right now. The community itself is really excited. I know there's a lot of hype going around for Toronto,
and
Seattle and Las Vegas are coming up this month or two. And then we have set championships again just around the corner. I feel like it was just yesterday we were doing Ursula's Return set championships. But
yeah, I mean, we just had the information was released today about what needs to go into those set championships.
Yeah.
Stores. So I'm sure they'll start organizing those. I'm sure the stores are just tough to get organized for them.
I wonder when they'll start planning. I wonder what month we'll do it in. I have a feeling it might be October. Because I think November is when the next set is set to release.
I think it's like mid-November.
Mid-November.
But I don't know for sure.
So we're very, very thrilled to see what that's gonna. I'm working on a deck. I finally have turned to the dark side and have gone Steel Song. That's what I really like it, actually. It's the first time where I'm playing what feels like a competitive deck that I enjoy.
It's not so
right. I'm turning to the dark side even more. No, I love my theme decks. I'll still probably play a couple nights of League with the themes, but Steel Song just feels fun. Like I enjoy playing it.
Gag.
For the most part, the people I play against don't hate that I play it, which is nice. That was my problem with the Steel Emerald Bucky combination. Was just my opponents hated it.
I still hate your Steel Song, but I hate Steel Song
in general. Yes, that's fair.
I hate them. My husband plays.
I will say I think the aggro side of it and what I'm doing with it is a lot more fun than the control. I don't worry too much about your state of affairs.
Yeah, you're more focused on your side of the board.
Which might be more fun to play against.
Possibly, but I just don't enjoy playing against it. I don't enjoy playing it. I've played Daryl's a few times. Maybe I would enjoy the aggro version of it. But it's just generally not my style.
Yeah, and everybody's got to find their style, right? So every player's different.
I also kind of went to the dark side. Yeah. I made a ruby amethyst, and I actually like it a lot.
Shush.
I like it a lot.
Blasphemy.
I know. I was surprised as much as you about enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
As someone who has never net decked and things like that, who's always played off meta, it's been kind of refreshing to play a meta deck in a way that, I mean,
you enjoy.
I enjoy, and I was not expecting to enjoy it.
Well, I know I call Daryl Master Kenobi because I've asked him to take him under my wing if I am going to be more competitive. And he brought up like this good point last week, which was, yeah, we're allergic to net decking, but there's a way to play the meta decks, but put your own flair into it or put your own spin to make it more comfortable for you.
Yeah, so like Super Goof is one of my absolute favorites to play. And instead of playing the goat package, I put in Super Goof instead.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of those Ruby Amethyst decks do not have, Super Goof. So I put that in instead. And then I've also just kind of altered it to more of my style.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played Ruby so much that I have a lot of Ruby cards that I enjoy. I actually enjoy that new Ruby Chromicon giving the +1. I think that's helpful against the Daisy Duck early in the game. Just giving my little guys a little bit more punch.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all really done. There's more punch.
They do.
No, but I think that's kind of why I was like, oh, I want to go Steel Song. I played last week with just a basic Steel Song deck, what you think it should look like. And then, again, talking to Daryl, he was like, there's so many different ways now to play it that when I played around with what do I like from the set in Amber, what was I excited for, and I saw Naveen, or not Naveen, well, also Naveen, but Kristoff looks so beautiful, that card. So I put him in there. Everybody's telling me to take him out, but I put him in there because I love him. And then also the When Will My Life Begin is also a fun card because I love Tangled.
Absolutely. I feel like I get to sing it every time you play it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like Steel Song is I was playing Alex and he kept knowing what cards were in my hand because I would sing the cards as I drew them without realizing I was doing it. And he's like, "You're giving me everything by telling me what your hand is." So
that's really funny.
He did say, he's like, when you're playing League, and especially when you're going to tournaments or the set champs, like, just be mindful not to start humming the song.
I have a hard time with that too, especially now playing Ruby Amethyst. Like, I hadn't been playing Be Prepared for a long time.
Yeah.
And a big reason I stopped playing Be Prepared in my previous decks is because I could not stop singing the song. And so they would always know it was coming because I would sing the song and I would just like hum it. It wasn't even a full scene. So I'd hum it. Or just like Teeth and Ambitions.
Yeah.
I'd do the same thing with that one too. And so it's really funny.
It's so funny. Is that really a problem though? I mean, it is, but
Lorcana, I feel like it needs to be part of it.
No, so
honestly, I wish you had to sing the song to actually play the
I know.
I think it would add
so much fun.
I think it would add some levity
Yeah.
to some more seriousness of the gameplay. Because I do think some players just get way too serious about this.
They do. And that's not what so that's one thing I'm not looking forward to set champs is going back to the grind and having to play with some of the players that are a lot more hardcore, and I'm just enjoying my my Disney deck. But I know that we've been helping bring a lot more of the social aspect to the community, at least in the East Valley. So we're trying to build a theme night once a month with a store we play at regularly. So really,
yeah. I mean, and I think we keep on growing.
Yeah,
community on our Discord and also just the Facebook groups and things that we're a part of.
Yeah.
So I love being able to introduce new players to the game. And I feel like we do that at least once a week, at least online or in person. We're introducing new people all the time. And like we're recognized across the valley now. So that's kind of,
we're famous.
And we're not just famous because of our podcast. We're famous because we are known as safe players and players that
play with. Yeah.
Comfortable teaching new players how to play.
Absolutely.
And known to be able to teach people without making it a chore or feel like a chore to other players.
Or feel like you're mansplaining. I mean, I know we're women, but basically mansplaining.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there is a way to teach someone that is not, derogatory.
Yes, absolutely. No, and I encourage anybody who's a little more on the shy side, if you do need to talk to anybody, to reach out to us. We're very open and happy to help.
Even if our faces don't always say so.
I know, we have subtitles with face, okay? We're working on it.
But we promise we're very nice.
We just have those faces. No, you should see us both remind each other, hey, smile. You look mad. My daughter all of a sudden is really into this game, and she's asked me to build her a princess deck.
I'm so excited.
So I'm excited because all of a sudden, it's funny how school kind of works. I know that's silly to sound, but she came home the other day and she read a whole book to me. Like, she's reading. And
she was so hesitant last
year. She was so hesitant. She did not want to learn. She really enjoys it now. And it felt like it was overnight. She went from having to really need help with every single word to now she's just reading things off.
Yeah.
Willy-nilly. So I'm like,
from teacher perspective, it does happen like that sometimes.
I mean, A+ teachers. So we love to see it. So now that she's like, I know how to read, Mom, it's time to bring me to Lorcana. I'm gonna build her a princess deck, and then probably bring her to a few league nights when I know.
Oh, excited!
Some other kids will be there too, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Brittany loves this idea.
I know, she's gonna get into it. My poor kids never had a chance. Nerds for life.
Well, I mean, I was pre-thinking about her birthday because it's coming up, and I was like, Is it too early to buy her all of the Lorcana?
No, but she'll want anything that's princess themed.
Yes, so I want to get her like a princess, like
Mat.
mat, and
I know. Well, she got into Pokemon too, so we just bought her this beautiful Pokemon mat that has all the like pink Pokemon, like Jigglypuff and Chansey and all of them, and she's like in love with that. And I know you're shaking your head because who would play Pokemon? But
Yeah.
we love all the TCG communities, not just Lorcana.
we do. We love them.
But Lorcana is
But
best.
Lorcana's yes.
So no, we're very excited. I think if more kids are interested to come on or to come out and to play, you should. We have a very safe community. I feel like we've built around here. Next week we're gonna have Mark and Mark Jr. on to
Yeah, and so that is a older kid.
Yes,
He's 11, and
but he's still young-ish. Like I think other kids I've seen have been teenagers, and then we see little Mark.
yeah, no, I've played with kids as young as like 8 at
Yeah.
our stores. So, your daughter definitely will be on the younger side, but I think she's still gonna have fun, and
Yeah,
I think everybody that we play with is going to welcome her with open.
I hope so. I think they will too. Because I was toying with, do I play too, or do I just sit out that one first night and just like help her out? And I think I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're very excited to have the Marks on next week. Definitely let us know any questions you have for them.
Questions you have about Lorcana being introduced to the community?
Yeah.
Maybe building up a community near your local area.
Yeah.
Like our community, we've built up.
We've really built it. Yeah.
But if you have questions about what can you do to introduce more players to the game, to make it more social, to make it more welcoming to a diverse range of players, I feel like we have a relatively healthy balance of casual and competitive players in our area. And so we're really working to keep that balance.
Yeah.
But it does take work.
It does.
So,
It does. And we have a good balance too, I think, of all of us are relatively safe people to enjoy this game with, whether you're competitive or not. And we are just really open. So we would love to help anybody who's looking to build up their community. We have great advice if you want it. If not, we'll just keep talking at you. You're the one that listens to this podcast.
and we love that. We love
Yes,
that.
we do love
We
that.
appreciate all of our listeners. We've had a lot of you continue to listen episode to episode, so we appreciate
Yes.
the consistency.
And those of you that started from episode 1 where our sound quality was terrible,
It got so much better.
it got so much better. Tell your friends that it got better if they stopped at the first episode because we sounded awful.
We didn't have the right.
We didn't think it would take off like this. And I think as long as we continue to enjoy it and have fun, we'll keep it up.
We'll keep it up. We're enjoying talking about Lorcana, spending more time together as friends.
Yeah.
Outside of, just hanging out. We like having a purpose sometimes past being friends.
Yes. Well, it's funny. We don't have a lot of shared interest, I think, as friends.
Like, true, which is like we're best friends, but yes, Lorcana is definitely one of those things where we're like, oh, we both love this. Let's grab on.
Let's grab on and take it by the horns. But I think that like also is a point to bring up is that it helps so many different people like come together because we are best friends and we've made it work for so many years. But it is so nice now to have one shared
interest. Yeah. I think it's kind of funny if you ever look at a room of Lorcana players.
Oh, it is.
And you just see this wide range.
Absolutely.
Like we have these kids that are not kids, I guess they're young teenagers and like some younger adults that are like, this is their, all they do is play cards and things like that. Like they have a job so they can buy cardboard type of thing. And then we have, this range of, ages. And like, it's funny because like one of my favorite people to play with is, he's like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of funny when you see us next to each other playing cardboard. And
Oh, but he's the sweetest guy.
it's still really just...
And then you have people bringing in their moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas. And I think insane, but so good.
No, I think it's funny because like Daryl's family, everybody plays.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny when like we bring his mom to play with us and the family is here. And so like all of us are playing. So it's 6 of us all playing the game. So we bring a lot of bodies into the room and the family is very loud.
It is very loud, but it's also, I mean, we're all very loud. I think the game brings out so many players' personalities too, because I am a relatively quieter person when I first meet somebody. After that, I'm very loud, if you cannot tell. And then I've noticed other players too, as they've come out more and more, they're opened up.
They're opened up. There are definitely people that I was like, oh, they're so quiet. And I feel bad that they're not, like, it doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
They keep coming back. And so I know that they were enjoying.
Well, because we're encouraging them to come back and we have the Discord to, sometimes it's nicer to get to know somebody on screen so you don't really have to face them. And then once you talk to, oh, hey, I recognize your name and now I'm seeing you in person, and you just open up that way. So
yeah,
very cool. Very, very excited for all things Lorcana to come. Like I said, catch us next week with Mark and Little Mark.
And as we're getting ready for Vegas, we're going to keep making our friendship bracelets.
Yes.
Trade with you guys. So make sure if you're going to Vegas that you have bracelets to trade.
Yeah, or we'll just give you them because I'd love to go them out. But also catch us because we'll be having Lorcana Musa shirts.
Woo-hoo.
So we'll be not hard to miss. Not that we are very hard to miss to begin with. But we're very excited to meet so many of you. So definitely reach out, continue to share your feedback, continue to share your questions or insights or whatever it is. If you get an enchanted, share that with us. We love to see it. I'll only be mildly jealous, but now that I have one, maybe less jealous. And then remember, you can catch us at the Lorcana Muses podcast on Instagram or the Lorcana Muses pod on Twitter.
Or email us at the Lorcana Muses podcast at gmail.com.
Happy questing.
Happy questing.